What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a quick weekly update for Destiny 2, and we've got a few bits of news to cover, as well as some of the content beats for this week in the game. And so we have some updates from Bungie on a few fixes, but we also have the Master Vox Obscura mission, a new exotic catalyst, and a look at some of the content in the raid, including puzzles, rewards, and more. So we're going to talk about a few things in the video guys. It is a slightly more relaxed week than what we've had since the launch of Witch Queen, but nonetheless let's jump in, and if you guys enjoy the video, a rating below really does help us out. And now getting into things initially, DMG did give players a heads up and said that players can start to purchase Season Pass ranks from this week, and it's an optional purchase for those who may wish to catch up on the pass or snag some quick cosmetic rewards. And so that's now a thing on the Season Pass. But on the subject of the raid over the weekend and contest mode, Bungie Help said that players who completed the raid during the extension will be awarded the emblem at a later date, and more info will be provided in a future TWAB. And of course, because of some of the issues early on in the raid launch, especially servers and error codes, Bungie decided to extend that 24-hour period for contest to be a full 48-hour period. And that gave a few more teams the opportunity to actually complete the raid. We'll speak a bit more about raid stuff in a few moments, but to touch on some of the other content this week, we now have access to the Master Vox Obscura mission. So if you've already completed this mission, there'll be a quest pop-up at the war table in the helm, and the reward for completing the mission and quest is the Dead Messenger catalyst. But also in Master Vox Obscura, there is a higher chance to pick up the Ivory Empress exotic sparrow. And in terms of the difficulty of the mission, it is definitely harder than the original. It is a 1580 mission, and so the enemies put out a lot of damage, and also there are a significant number of champions in this mission. But otherwise, the timers and things like that stay the same. And we just about managed to get that completion there. And we can see here for the Dead Messenger catalyst, once that's been dropped, we need to farm out Arc, Solar, and Void mode kills. And it does say that defeating combatants in the Throne World or the Vox Obscura exotic quest will unlock the objectives faster. And I haven't quite finished that upgrade just yet, but using the weapon to break the shield of a combatant or a guardian using their super will grant an overshield. And that's the catalyst bonus, so be a pretty interesting one to try out. With so many different exotics, I haven't actually given Dead Messenger all that much time. So let us know what you think about the weapon or the catalyst down below. But up next we had new quest steps for the Operation Elbrus quest, and in terms of gameplay, it's basically the same process we've been used to, where we complete PsyOps battlegrounds and collect the psychogenic intel and all of that stuff. But from completing it, Saladin does update us on the Scion's investigation of the Hive and some other character stuff for the week, so here's his ending dialogue if you want to check it out.
You have done well. The Hive are in disarray. I spoke to the Scion running the equipment while you were gone, the one Keitel trusts above the others. I used words, while I allowed him to use telepathy. He hosted me in his mindscape. It was not what I had envisioned. A neutral place where we met as equals. He shared with me openly. He sees flashes of gray and red in the minds of the Hive. He interprets this as a vision. We will soon know where to attack. I was struck by the tone of his thoughts. His actions are heavy with a sense of duty. He does not enjoy working on an unwilling mind, no matter how wicked it may be. I mentioned Keitel, and he radiated warm feelings. Harsh, brutal feelings, but still warm. He and Keitel share an old friendship. Crow has been sulking more than usual lately. Perhaps I should encourage him to speak with the Scion as well. It may do him good. I will contact you when we have taken the new information from the Hive. Until then, Iron Will, Guardian.
Of course, the other especially new thing for the week will be new collectible moths on the Throne World, and as always I'll link a video with the full locations for those down below if you want to grab them. A final few things to mention now though regarding new content we've had over the past few days, but firstly the Preservation mission which launched after the raid is now a weekly Pinnacle source, plus it's also an alternative source for the Raid Ghost Shell and Lore Book, which is earned via the puzzle room in the Pyramid. I did make a video yesterday with a breakdown on how to complete that, including how to do it for solo players, and it's pretty easy to do, although it does require multiple completions of the mission, and alternatively there's a way to farm all of them out inside of the raid instance. But I'll link the video about that down below. And separately in the raid, of course, there is some pretty tasty loot. Initially there is the Pulse Rifle, Collective Obligation, and this is a really cool weapon coming with Void Leech, where the weapon leeches void debuffs when damaging targets that are suppressed, weakened, or volatile. And once charged, a long press on the reload will swap firing modes, and in this mode, damage from the weapon applies the same void debuffs that were leeched. Then on top of that, it has umbral sustenance, and the weapon's magazine is automatically reloaded when you gain Devour, a void overshield, or become invisible. So a very cool weapon to have as part of a void build this season, and it can stack and leech those void debuffs from other targets. Then when you swap firing mode, the damage from the weapon will apply those same void debuffs to the new target. So a very interesting concept right there, and my clanmate Whale managed to pick up that exotic. There are some other really cool weapons though, things like Deliverance, a fusion rifle right here, and it has new perks like Sleight of Hand and final blows with weapons or abilities while the weapon is stowed increase its handling, stability, and reload speed for a short duration, as well as Bait and Switch, and we can deal damage with all equipped weapons within a short time to give this weapon a damage boost, and it's a pretty similar damage boost to something like Harmony, but easier to apply to one target, right? And then Soul Drinker, where you can gain health based on the number of hits before reloading. There's also Insidious with Compulsive Reloader, and then Adaptive Munitions, and the weapon adapts its damage output and effectiveness against energy shields that don't match the weapon's damage type. And then once again it has Soul Drinker. It is also possible to earn the new Glaive, and this is Lubray's Ruin, a very cool weapon right there. Unfortunately, on my first full run of the raid, I didn't manage to pick up any weapons myself, as I only got armor drops, but I nearly have a full set of armor at least. I just need a chest piece to drop. And so I figured a quick look at some of those rewards might be interesting. Let us know if you've been in the raid or plan to dive in down below. And of course we can anticipate plenty more secrets and challenges to uncover. The other thing that we got over the weekend, of course, are the exotic glaives. Once again, we're getting an update on Thursday that's going to make the Wellspring Deep Sight Resonant weapons easier to obtain, which will in turn make accessing the exotic glaive quest quite a bit easier. And then the final quest itself is very quick. But a lot of players are a little bit underwhelmed by how they perform. I'd say the main problems with the glaives are that the unique perks don't actually feel that strong. The idea behind the perks is pretty exotic, right, in concept, but in delivery they're just not as strong as you'd really want them to be for exotics. For instance, the Titan Bubble is just a bubble without any other benefit, and charging glaive energy is done by hitting projectiles on enemies, but it doesn't really feel like using that projectile to earn the special ability is worth it. And that's probably loosely the same for the other glaives, although the Titan one is probably the most underwhelming. And so the abilities maybe need to be stronger. I'd love it if the Titan glaive also got something like volatile rounds when the special is up. It'd just make them feel much more exotic. And considering the fairly lengthy grind to actually acquire the weapons, I'd definitely love to see them be a bit more powerful. So give us your thoughts about them down below. And for today, guys, that is what we have to round up in the video. So as always, I hope you have enjoyed this one, and if you have, a rating below really does help us out. If you're new to the channel, definitely get subscribed and I'll keep you posted with more Destiny 2 news and content. But otherwise, as always, I very much appreciate you all tuning in. And whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.